Hi everyone, it's Chef Brett from Stir Crazy Cooking School, and I'm here with Food Lovers Market demonstrating a whole bunch of different cooking techniques for you tonight. So stuff that you can practice at home, stuff that every home cook should be able to do, so essential cooking. So I'm going to show you how to shallow fry. We're going to steam, show you different ways of steaming, two different things that you can try at home. And if you don't have a steamer, I'm going to show you a bit of a chef's trick. Then we're going to do some grilling on the stovetop, or an option in the oven. Then I'm going to do some sauteing and then pan fry. So let's start off and I'll show you what we're going to be cooking. So I've got some potato fondants here. So these are literally just chopped potatoes that we're going to put into a pan, and I'm going to start off doing that. So let's just get that pan on the go quickly, and I'm going to turn that up to about 5 just to get the oil on. And the shallow fry is where we literally putting probably about a centimetre or so of oil in, and I'm going to put my fondants directly into that. Okay. And while this is cooking, we're going to scoop oil over that so that it actually starts cooking and assists the cooking process. So that's on the go. Then I've got some fish and burgers here. So with burgers we're going to grill. The fish I'm going to show you how to pan fry. I've got a piece of sirloin steak here that I'm going to grill as well. And then we've got a piece of chicken breast that we're going to pan fry. Then I've got a piece of fish over here that we're going to steam. And I've seasoned this with a little bit of ginger, garlic and chili. And then lastly I've made a few bao. So some really nice little stuffed buns that we're going to steam as a different cooking option. So let's kick off, and I've already shown you that we started the fondant. So this potato fondant takes quite a while to cook. So literally we're going to be cooking this for about 15 minutes like this. And what I'm going to be doing is, as this cooks, we're going to take a little bit of this oil and actually splash it over the top like that every now and then, just to keep it nice and moist, and obviously the cooking process going right over the fondant. So I'm going to leave that to cook. Okay, and while we're doing that, I'm going to start getting my grill pan on the go, so I can start grilling. And one thing when we're grilling, so I'm going to show you how to do a burger, which sometimes can be difficult, but a burger you can actually do on a Weber as well, and also fish. In fact, a lot of people put fish on the Weber, and they put tin foil all over it. You can actually do it straight on the fire. And then a bit of steak. So what I'm going to do is just going to season the steak with a little bit of paprika. I'm not going to put any salt on this because we're going to be cooking this for quite a while. And I'm just going to add a little bit of black pepper to that. So literally just coat it with a bit of black pepper, some paprika, and then we're going to stick that onto the grill as soon as that grill gets nice and hot. So the best way to check whether that grill is hot or not is to put a little bit of oil on it. And as soon as that starts smoking, then we know that we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so the burger I've made with it's basically just a whole bunch of mince. And I've added some onion here, a little bit of salt and pepper and some seasoning, and that's just going to go straight onto this grill as well. Okay, so let's go down to this area here, and I've got some oil on the go here, which is a little bit too hot. Let me just turn that down.
So this is a deep fry?
This is a deep fry, yeah.
This is a shallow fry?
Yeah, this is a shallow fry. But I've got the steamer on here, so let me show you this quickly. So when you're steaming, you need to make sure that you've got enough water in the bottom so it doesn't dry out. And steaming literally, it goes quite quickly. So you should be able to steam for about, I'd say, anywhere up to 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm putting the bao on, so you can see the size of that now. And I'm just going to leave that to steam a little bit. And while that is steaming, I'm actually going to show you a different steaming method. So let me just move this back. And here's another jipper. So let's call it a jipper, but it's a quick trick. If you don't have a steamer like this, you can put the same amount of water on the bottom, just a little bit, and then you take one of these containers that just supports that. And then I've put my fish on a plate, which I'm actually just going to put straight into my pot like that. And then I'm actually going to add my lid. and I'm just going to let that steam. So it's a quick way of creating a new steamer. Right, so you can see coming back to my pan here, this is starting to smoke nicely. So I'm actually going to turn this up quite high. So when you're cooking meat, what you want to do, particularly with steak, is to actually sear it. So I'm actually going to put this on, and what you want to hear this sizzle. And we're going to let that sit there, and while it's sitting there, it's actually going to just seal the meat all the way around. I'm going to do the same with the burger. Let's just take the burger, and I'm going to put this burger on. And while that's going, we're going to carry on checking our potato fondant. There we go. Okay, so this has turned itself off. Right, so I'm just going to put a little bit more oil over this. And you'll start seeing that your potato fondants start going a little bit brown at the bottom. So in about probably 5 minutes or so, you'll see that they are getting very brown. And then we're going to turn them over. Okay. What I'm going to do now quickly is just to show you a quick saute method. So I'm going to put this pan on here quickly, and I'm going to have that. Let me just see that one. There we go. Right, and to saute you don't need a lot of oil. You literally just need to cover the bottom. And I'm sure most of you have done this at home already. It's literally, you just heat the pan up, and while the pan is hot, let me just turn it on a little bit. I'm struggling to get this on here. So I'm putting it on to about 4. I'm just going to let that heat up a little bit, and we're going to just add some onions to that and then saute that. So let's just go back to this. I'm going to turn my potato, and you can see it's almost half cooked down the one side. Okay. So obviously this cooking method is we're going to continue it in the oven. So we're literally just shallow frying for a while, and then we'll continue it in the oven. So let me show you what's happening with the burger. So this is cooking nicely. I don't want to move this around too much. So you can see my burger is probably cooked probably about 1/3, but I can turn that over now, and you can see I've got those really nice griddle lines on there. I'm going to leave the steak on a little bit longer, just before I turn it. And then let's get back to these things happening here. Okay.
Chef, quickly on the grilling,
yes.
If you don't have a griddle pan, can you grill it in the oven or?
Yes, you can griddle it in the oven. So you can put your oven on grill, and just check that your pan is actually quite high, or your grid is quite high up, and you can put it onto one of those plates. I don't have one here, but literally just a metal plate, and you can stick it in the oven. But just be careful, because what happens is when the grill goes on in your oven, as soon as it gets to a certain temperature, it switches off. So either you can keep your oven door slightly open to keep your grill going all the time, but then you need to watch it very carefully and make sure you change it around quite often. Okay, so I'm going to turn my meat around now, and I'm just going to literally just quickly brown it on the one side and then the other side. And then I'm going to render the fat. So you can see there's a lot of fat on here. I'm just going to render that as well. So that's just sealed on that side and there.
What does it mean to render the fat?
So literally what we're doing is we're browning the fat, and we're trying to get the oils out of the fat, just so that it releases some of those oils, so it's not too fatty. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and you can see you've got really nice lines on that. Once we've done that, we can't leave this on too long. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn the heat down. So it was sitting on about 7 or 8, and I'm actually going to change the temperature down to about 4 or 5, just so that it cooks a little bit slower. If it cooks too much, then obviously it's going to burn the meat. So I'm just going to leave that just to sit for a little bit on a much lower heat, and that's going to allow it to cook through. Okay, so if I come back here, you can see my fish is steaming quite nicely, so there's quite a bit of nice steam build-up. You will hear, can you hear this little bubbling? Okay, that's the pot at the bottom that is collecting steam, and it's actually lifting up and down. All right, but it's nothing to worry about. That's all good. Okay, Then I'm going to show you quickly how to deep fry. So deep frying is literally when you're putting a whole bunch of oil into a plate, into a pot, and you're putting stuff in there to fry, and it cooks quite quickly. So you also need to be careful, and this is one thing that I'm very wary of, is that you need to watch a deep fryer. If you're putting a deep fryer on at home or a pot with oil and it gets too hot, it can actually catch a light, okay, and set your house on fire. So please be careful when you are frying that you do watch it and that you are present when this is going. We'll turn that to about 5 string, and then we're going to, I'm just going to get that up to heat, and then we'll start cooking that. Okay. So this is going quite hot. I'm just going to turn it, it's going a little bit hotter than I need to. Just turn that down a bit. Alright, so you can see this is starting to cook really nicely. Okay. Right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to pan fry this. So let me just move this potato fondant off quickly before it gets too hot. So I'm going to pan fry some fish now for you. Sorry, I'm going to saute this. I was going to saute onions first. So getting very confused here. There's a lot happening. So I'm going to put this guy on, and then I'm literally just going to throw some onions in here. I've got a little bit of thyme. Now thyme goes really well with onions. So I'm just going to take some fresh thyme and sprinkle that around. And literally what we do is we're going to mix the onion around like that with a little bit of oil, and that's going to saute it. So when the onion goes nice and transparent, that's when it's actually finished. And you can add all sorts of things. So if you are going to be doing something like a curry, see how nicely these burgers are going now. If you're doing something like a curry, you can add all of your spices while you're cooking the onion, and the onion's actually going to absorb all of those nice curry spices and actually hold those curries before you put any meats and things into your curry. So you can see this is literally just a quick saute method. As soon as this starts going translucent or transparent, then you know it's done. Okay, so you just try and manage all my bits and pieces here.
Cool.
Right.
Should we do you mind if we do a quick recap on
okay,
doing shallow fry?
We're doing a saute. This is a shallow fry. This is a saute. We're grilling here. And this burger is about done. So this burger you can also do in the oven. You can actually put it into a pan in the oven and put it on probably about 180. And to finish it off, you can literally just put it onto a grill just to get the nice lines on that burger. Okay. Right, so this meat I'm going to leave on here. Okay, so that can actually carry on cooking.
We got a question from Melanie. What are the round things in the pan? The potato fondant.
That's a potato fondant, yes. Okay, we'll call it fondant potato. So it's a way of cooking potato, which is a traditional French way of doing it. And what you do is you shallow fry with about 1 centimeter of oil. You put the oil in, and you literally sear the potatoes all around, probably about 5 to 8 minutes each side, and you keep turning it. And you keep adding oil onto that, and then you put it in the oven just to finish it off.
And was it a mash, or was it chopped up, or was it just a big slice of potato?
They cut. They're whole cut potatoes.
Okay.
All right. So let me go down to here and just take a look at this fish because we don't want it to overcook. And that's looking beautiful.
So this is an easy steam.
Yeah, it's a very easy steam. I'm going to let that sit for about another probably a minute or so, and then we'll pull that out. So this I'm putting back here. Fondant potato. So you can see it's cooking nicely. There we go. Right, so I'm going to take the onion off now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to pan fry some fish. Let's remove those onions. You can, obviously if you're doing fish, you can do veggies first and then you can add anything to that afterwards. If you're doing meat, obviously you need to use a different pan. So this is the fish that I've got here. I've just got a nice piece of hake. And what we're going to do with any fish that you have, you need to see if there's a skin on that you actually score it. Okay, because often what happens, certain fish, not so much with hake, but the fish actually, the skin shrinks and it pulls the fish up and it actually stops it cooking properly. So what I'm going to do is actually just turn this over and just score it lightly. You don't cut all the way through the skin. I'm just going to do that. And that will stop the whole fish from curling up. And then what I'm going to do is just season it on this side just with a little bit of fish spice. And then we're going to pan fry them. Let's just get my pan on quickly. There we go. Alright. Okay, so add a little bit of oil.
So a saute and a pan fry is also just a little bit of oil. Same
saute and pan fry is pretty much the same sort of thing. Okay. Alright, so our fish over here should be ready. So if you want to come down this way and take a look at our fish. That looks beautiful. I'm going to take that off. Okay. And I'm going to put it onto a plate. I'm just going to take it straight off. There we go. And that should be beautifully cooked. And I'll show you in a second. And then this we can serve with some sauteed potatoes. So these are potatoes that have been sauteed in the oven, so these are ready cooked ones. And that is just a couple of different ways of doing it. So I'll just show you how nicely that fish is cooked through. So you can see here this method, it's really nice and flaky, and what it does is it actually keeps all of the nutrients together in the steamer, which is beautiful. Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep turning this over. Okay, so let me just take that one off. So you've seen the sauteed potatoes. I mean the fondant potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you put those in the oven or do you finish them?
Yes, we finish those off in the oven. So the sauteed potatoes, once they've been in in your frying pan, so you shallow fry them so that they get this nice brown texture, you put them in the oven just to finish them off. Alright, so we've got our fish on the go here. I'm just going to turn this up a little bit more. When you're cooking fish, you don't want to start with a really hot pan. Okay, so if your pan's too hot, your fish is going to stick to your pan. So you want to start off on a medium heat, and you always want to start off on the side that you're actually going to present the fish. So I'm going to present my fish skin up, so I'm going to start it, and I'm going to put it on that side, and you can see immediately it starts shrinking up, and that's the skin that has actually pulled it together a little bit. Okay, so you're just going to leave that like that. You can see that's on about 4. So I'm going to let that sit there on 4 for a while, and that's just going to cook slowly. Let's just go back here to our bao, and look what's happened to our bao.
Wow.
So that's a really nice way of steaming breads, or obviously you can actually make your own bread, but inside here we've got a nice little surprise which I'll show you later.
So you didn't have to put a lettuce leaf down or a cabbage leaf or something at the bottom?
So all I did here was I put some spray and cook on my bottom thing, but you can actually put some baking paper or anything like that just to hold it.
What if is it possible to do something like that in your other steamer, your quick steam?
Yes, you can do it in exactly that.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to quickly put this on. And this is a deep fry. Let's put it on that one. I'm getting an error here. Sorry. Okay, that should work. And I've got some little fat cook here. I'm just going to test one quickly.
How do you know when your oil is hot enough?
I'm doing a little tester.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I'll put that in. My oil's not hot enough, so it was off for a while. So I'm actually going to move it onto this pan here. I'll put it on here, and then I'm going to stick it onto that one. Right, and my fish I'm going to turn over, so you can see how nicely that's cooked on that side. Alright. Let me just take my little bao out. Okay, so this is almost done. So you literally, when you're cooking your fish, you don't want it to cook 100% through. You want it to cook to a point where you can actually just take it off. So it's literally, it's almost cooked through, and you let it rest and it'll actually carry on cooking. But just be careful that obviously it isn't raw when you're presenting it. Okay, I'm just going to turn this over a little bit, and I'm just going to put that there just to rest a bit. And that is almost cooked through. But that obviously is our grilling method that we've done quickly. Okay. Right, so this fish I'm just going to leave like that. That can sit for a while my heat gets going on this. Let's see. And then I'm just going to show you a quick frying method. And then on this side here, let me just show you quickly how to fry some chicken. Sorry. So there's a whole lot going on here.
Pan fried chicken.
Pan fried chicken.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got a chicken breast here. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to that pan. The pan's quite hot already. And I've just taken it, I've just got some chicken breast. I'm just going to add some nice little coarse chili to that. You can add all sorts of things to it. You can put some peri-peri chicken powder on there. I'm just going to add a little bit of...
Would you add salt now or only later?
I would add salt a little bit later to this. Just going to add a bit of paprika. This one pan's very hot actually.
What is your best way of cooking a chicken breast? I mean, pan fry or oven or...
I like cooking chicken breast on the pan, but I also what I like doing is making chicken burgers. So you can actually slice the chicken open. In fact, let me show you how to do that quickly. So I enjoy doing it like this. You actually just take the chicken, you slice it in half, and then you literally open it up like that. And you can season both sides. Just with a little bit of black pepper. Okay. And then this can go straight into the pan just like that.
Awesome.
All right.
Should your pan be high heat, medium
So
heat?
this is on about a medium heat.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have to turn it over just now pretty quickly. So this here is our fish, which is cooked. Okay, so just put that down there. You can see how beautifully that's cooked with the skin scored really nicely. So if the skin was all in one piece, everything would have bunched up together. So you can see how it's separated really nicely there. Okay. Right, so let me just show you quickly how to... I'm just going to test this oil again. And that should be ready. There we go. It's almost ready.
Almost.
Almost. Okay, so now I'm just going to turn my chicken breast over, and you can see this is pretty much cooked on the one side. So that's got a really nice brown texture to it. And obviously the spices also help. So I'm just going to leave that to cook through. And then I'm going to show you how to make some quick chef cook in the deep frying method. So I've got the same bao, just going to put it into the oil. And deep frying, you can put chicken in there, you can do a whole bunch of different things in, but this is quite a nice way of doing breads actually, which works quite well. Right, so this is going quite fast.
Sure.
Right. So we'll come back to that.
Could you explain a little bit how you did the steamed bao?
So what I did was I made a bread dough like this. Okay?
Just a regular bread dough.
It's a bread dough, but it's got milk in it.
Okay.
Okay, so instead of using water, you use milk. Then what we do is we take this and we just flatten it quickly, just like that. And then I make a little cup. Okay, and inside that cup you can put a filling. So you can actually chop up some meat, or you can actually put some chicken in. What I've done is on these ones here, I put some roast chicken in. And then you put your roast chicken filling in. And then you literally just seal the whole thing like that, and then twist it with all your filling in it. Okay, so I don't have filling in here, so it doesn't look proper. And then that's your bun.
Oh, amazing.
Okay.
That's simple.
So let me show you what it looks like at the end. So if I take this and I open it,
Oh, wow. Oh,
there's my bun filling.
Yummy.
All right.
So
So that's a
beautiful.
typical bao, and you can put anything in there, and you can see how nice and light and fluffy that bao is. Okay.
Bao buns.
I have another question, sorry, on your chicken.
Yeah.
How long should it be pan fried so that it's still succulent?
Okay, so what you can do is, chicken is always quite a difficult thing to do, and people are often quite skittish about chicken. So if you are unsure, then what you can literally do is just check your chicken and do a slight cut through, then you'll see, like for example, this one here is almost cooked through, but not quite. Okay, so it's a good test. So it all depends on the thickness of your chicken, so be careful not to, when you're pan frying it, not to overcook it, over brown it on the outside, and then it's not cooked properly in the inside. So with a piece of chicken that's flat like this, you can do it probably on about a 4 or 5, and then just to seal it, and then you turn it down to about a 2 or 3, just so that it cooks through slowly.
So
and as soon as it's cooked through, you can take
heat.
it off. So literally this I can take off now. This is cooked. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me take it off. Stick it onto the plate. Here we go. So that's cooked. All right.
Lovely.
Okay, so those are all the different cooking, frying, sauteing, grilling methods that we did today. If you have any questions, please post them on Facebook and on Instagram, and we'll respond to those. And we're also doing a quick video for you on how to poach eggs in 2 or 3 different ways, and how to make eggs nice and quick and easy poached at home. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Please take a look at our website and take a look at the recipes we've got there. We'll upload some of these recipes on there as well, and just some of the cooking methods. Thanks very much for watching.
Awesome. Thank you.